Hello everyone, Jesse with RoofSnap here, and in this tutorial I'll show you how to get started with the new RoofSnap Max iPad app. There's a lot to cover, so please stick with me through the end of this video before getting started. I'm not going to cover how to sketch roofs in this video, so be sure to watch our other tutorials to get started with the sketching process. If you're the account admin, you'll also want to watch the videos on account setup in order to properly set up your user settings, terms, materials, and prices. Let's get started with the app. You'll notice that you've been provided with a sample account that contains some sample terms, materials, prices, logos, etc. These are 100% customizable by you, and we've got several tutorial videos showing you how to properly set up your accounts and offices. I'm logged in as an account admin, so I have a current user jump bar at the top left. This allows me to jump between any user's account within my company to see their projects or create new ones. If I have app-only access, this will not be shown. You'll also notice that I have two office locations. Each office location has a completely separate set of materials, prices, contract terms, and more. You'll only see one until you set these up on the website. Lastly, I have some status folders. These allow me to organize my projects and keep track of them as they move through the sales process. On the right side of the screen are tiles. You can upload all sorts of documents and links within the web portal in order to create as many custom tiles as you would like to be shown here. This is a great place to show off your pitch book, website links, video links, product brochures, installation guides, and more. To create a new project, I just tap the Start New Project tile, input the project name, customer details, and insurance information. Then tap Done to save the project. Or I can tap the Start New RoofSnap tile in order to jump straight into sketching a roof. Once I'm in the project list, you'll notice that we have Details, RoofSnap, Measurements, and Estimate at the top left. These are the main screens that you're going to work with as you build a project. Let's enter the RoofSnap. I'm going to go ahead and skip through the drawing part of this. Now that I've drawn most of the lines of the roof, we'll switch to Edges mode. You'll notice that all of the line measurements are on every line, but these are not three-dimensional measurements because we haven't assigned a line type or pitch value to any of the facets or lines yet. So I'm going to open up the Edges menu on the right-hand side, and this should look very familiar to you who are experienced in ProSketch. So I can tap on Eaves, and I can label my eaves. But new to the RoofSnap Max app is I can go a step further and drill down into eaves and get a list of categories that can be attached to that line type. So let's say we want ice and water shield and we want eave edge, some sort of metal edge on our eaves. I can now tap on these lines and you'll see the little abbreviation that pops up to show me that these have been labeled as an eave and they've also got ice and water shield and eave edge on them. I can do the same thing with rakes, and we'll say we want rake edge on all of our rakes. As you can see, the little RAK shows up to show me that rake edge is attached. And ridges. I can attach ridge vent, but let's say we want ridge vent just on these two main ridges. So I can unselect ridge vent and still label these other ridge lines as ridges so that we know how much ridge vent we need and we also know how much hip and ridge cap we need. Let's say we want ice and water shield on our valleys. Next we'll switch to facets mode. As you can see, the entire roof highlights just like the old app used to. However, now we've got a few more options. If I select pitch, I can drill down into my pitch and let's grab some 10-12 values. When I tap on all of these, you can see they switch from red to white to show me that they've been labeled. And you'll notice as I label these with a pitch value, the rake and the valley measurements are adjusting for the pitch. Down here you can see this rake edge is 39.1 feet. And if I tap again, I can toggle that back to 0, and you'll see the rake adjust back down to 30 feet, which is its two-dimensional measurement. So by inputting the pitch, it's adjusting all of the lines for their proper lengths. Within the Facets menu, I can also now select 2-story, 2-layer, and low slope. So let's say just these main sections of the roof here in the front is 2-story. Now we know how many squares we have that are 2-story. I can tap on it again while I'm in 2-story mode to remove one if I tap the wrong facet. And let's say we have a small section that's 2-layer. You'll see the little 2L below each pitch value that's labeled with the 2-layer. The biggest change to the new RoofSnap Max app, however, is Pins mode. This is completely new. You'll notice when I drop into Pins mode, everything clears off of the roof so that I get a good view of the image. When I open up my pins, the very top is called General Pins. These are basically for inspections. So I can grab any of these items. Let's say we want a photo pin that I can drop over in the driveway. I can touch and hold on that photo pin while in pins mode, and I can choose an image or take a photo to attach to that pin. So let's say there's some pre-existing damage to the driveway. I can say driveway was cracked and document that damage, and of course attach a photo to it. I can also show where wind damage might be to the roof, and again I can touch and hold, attach a photo, choose an image from the library, or attach a note. We can mark some hail damage on the roof, and we can mark any leaks or special attention areas. The rest of these categories are items that you will set up in your account online. These represent individual material items that your company offers, and we already know the pricing and material pricing and labor pricing for all of these items. So I'm going to grab this item called power vent, and we're going to replace these couple of power vents here. As I drop those items on the roof, we already know that these need to be attached to our estimate, and we know how many of them we have. I can attach photos and notes to these items as well. Let's grab a couple of plumbing boots, and we'll just drop a few of these on the roof where we see some plumbing boots as well. I can also touch and hold on any item as long as I'm in the correct mode. If I'm in edges mode, I can touch and hold on any edge to bring up an info popover. This will show me the type of line, the length of that line, any categories that may be attached to that line, and I can also delete edges this way. When in facets mode, I can touch and hold on any pitch value to see the size of that facet, to see the pitch value that it's been assigned, and any other attributes like 2-story or 2-layer that may have been assigned to it. Once we're done with our sketch, be sure to hit the Done button at the top right. This will save the project and return us back to the project details screen. Next, we'll jump into the measurements page. You shouldn't have to do anything here other than adjust the waste percentage. The default waste percentage for your shingles is 10%. Let's change that to 12. The rest of these measurements should be auto input from the sketch. So you'll see I've got my 2-story squares, 2-layer squares, my squares at the 12-12 pitch. If I had any other pitch values, they would be shown in here as well. I've also got all of my line measurements and individual category measurements. So we know we need 731 feet of ice and water shield. You can also, if you haven't sketched the roof using the RoofSnap section, you can input any hand calculated measurements or measurements that you may have gotten from another source here. Be sure to hit save when you're done to save the waste percentage change. Then I'm going to jump into the estimate screen. You'll notice everything that we dropped on the roof is already input here. So from here we can select a shingle, and you can see I've pulled in all of the shingles that I have in this sample account that I've set up. So let's grab this GAF Grand Canyon, and all of our color options will pop up. We'll choose Mission Brown and select Done. So now it's pulled in that shingle that I've selected, shows us the color. We know the number of squares that we need, including our waste percentage, and it's even pulled in the pricing which we input on the website. Next we'll select Add Material. This is where we'll select all of our other items and accessories that we may need. You can see anything with a not selected in the category header needs to be selected. So we've got a measurement for it, but we haven't chosen exactly what. So we know we need to remove some shingles, but we don't know what kind of shingles. So let's say we're removing architecturals. We also have 7.86 squares of 2-layer. So what is the second layer? Let's say that that's a 3-tab shingle underneath of it. You can see our hip and ridge cap selections are being filtered by the shingle that we selected. So let's grab TimberTech shingle. Starter is also filtered by the shingle, as well as nails. That way we don't show 1¼ coil nails if you selected a heavy cedar shake roof. We'll go through and select a few more items in here. As you can see, the off-ridge vents that we dropped on the roof are already selected for us. And let's say we want 1.5" T-style rake edge. And let's go with gutter apron, and we'll select white for that as well. Now there are several other categories here, but this is enough for the purposes of this demonstration. Select Done, and as you can see, everything is input here that I just entered. Anything with an info button, I can change the color of. So maybe I want to change the valley color to match roof, or maybe I want to change the color of the shingle. I can choose Add Custom Line Item, and I can enter a regular priced item. Let's say we're going to power wash a driveway, and we're going to charge $200. Now this is an item obviously that's not in our database, so I can handwrite it here. Click Save, and it's in my material list. I can also swipe to the left to delete any item in here and replace it with something else if I choose. You'll notice that Add Custom Line Item also has options for discount percentage and markup percentage. So let's say we want to offer the customer a referral discount. And we're going to give them 5% off for being such a good customer. As you can see, my referral discount is now showing at the bottom, and I've got a new line item over on the left hand called Discount or Markup, and we can see that's in parentheses. We're taking off $3,892. Now that I'm happy with my material list, let's go back and create some documents. First, let's take a look at the notes section. You'll notice we've got several different types of notes here that are very important. Our general notes are just to keep track of things for the project. If I select Pre-Start Notes, I'll have text input from the website that may have a list of questions that you want to go over with the customer before starting each job. So here I have some pre-populated text, and I can go in and edit it. You'll want to do this with the customer because the customer can actually sign off on this document that has all of this text. Next, I can choose Contract Notes and enter anything that may not be in the contract that needs to be put in writing. Let's say we told this customer that we would include 2 sheets of plywood at no charge. We've also got delivery instructions. These are very important. These will show up on both the contract and the material order so that your material supplier knows where to drop the shingles. And lastly, we have some installation instructions if you have any special notes that you want to send to your crew. When you're done, be sure to select the Done button at the top right in order to save any changes that you've made. Once we're done with all of our notes, we'll go into the documents. Every time I generate a document, it's going to capture a snapshot of the materials that I have in my estimate list. So I can jump back into the estimate screen and change materials at any time and generate a new document. So let's just hit Generate New under the estimates. Now I can select on that estimate that we just created, and you'll see here's my detailed estimate. Of course, this will be your company's logo, your name and address, and the customer's name and address at the top left. Let's create a couple more documents. We can create a contract just by selecting the Generate New, or we can create a new contract and capture a signature by selecting the Capture Signature button on the right. As you can see, it's generated a contract using my terms that I've input on the website. Again, these are just boilerplate terms, so be sure to change these before you actually use the app. And you can see my delivery instructions and special instructions have been added there, as well as all the details of the roof. To sign a contract, just tap on the Sign Here button and have the customer sign off. If I need a change order, I can add something to my estimate list or make a color change, and I can go back to the customer and capture another signature reflecting that change. As you can see, now I have a revised contract labeled Revision 2. Let's generate a new material order. As you can see, we've got not only the measurement of each individual item that we need to order, but we've got the quantity as well. So we know we have 191.7 squares, but we need 1,151 bundles. Lastly, let's generate a sketch report. As you can see, the sketch report from the RoofSnap Max application is much more detailed than the older ProSketch application. Every individual line measurement is shown, as well as the individual categories that are attached to each line. So your crew knows exactly where to put ice and water shield and exactly where to install their ridge vent. We've also got an accessories page, which shows where all the accessories are, every pin that you've dropped on the roof. You'll also notice that each pin is numbered, and we've got a call out for each numbered pin below that explains what exactly that item is, any notes that you have attached to each individual pin, as well as a thumbnail of a photo if you've attached any photos to those pins. You can attach as many photos as you want, and this document will just continue getting longer and longer in order to accommodate all of the different photos and notes that you may want to attach. In version 1.0.4, we've added a project summary report and a labor summary report. The project summary shows the contract price, any overhead that you may have input under the user settings on the web portal, the net price, total labor, total material, and any estimated commissions and company profits. The labor summary report will show any items that have a labor price attached to them, so you can easily see what your crew should be getting paid for installing the project. These last two documents are usually pretty confidential, so you don't want to show these to a homeowner. In order to avoid this, select the Info button for your account settings and turn on Presentation mode. This will hide these last two reports, and it'll also remove the line item pricing from within the estimate list. Lastly, we've got our Images page. This will show all images of the roof and anything that you've attached to a pin, and we can share with other users. If I want to give Jeremy access to this project, I simply check his name. Everything's backed up to the cloud, and he'll now be able to access this project. Now that we're done with this, let's say it's ready to build. Select Edit from the Project Details screen. I'll drop it in the Ready to Build folder. Select Done. There it is. Jeremy now has access to this project. He can find it in the Ready to Build folder, and we're ready to build this job. Well, that pretty much covers the basics. Feel free to test out the app and let us know what you think. We hope you enjoy it as much as we do, and we'll continue to improve and add features as we go. Please don't hesitate to contact us at support@roofsnap.com should you have any questions or requests. Thanks again for choosing RoofSnap, and happy snapping.